Across the street, the clock tower began its midnight chime, the sound swallowed by an expectant silence. It was always like this before the signal. It was a mystery, a puzzle, and I was determined to solve it, no matter the cost. The allure of the unknown had taken hold.
Oh, a mystery, huh? Sounds like it could get spooky.
The hum, the crackle, the anticipation. It was all part of the haunting allure of the midnight broadcast. I couldn't resist it. As if the universe itself held its breath, waiting for the appointed hour. Tonight, as with every night, I began the recording, a familiar routine. The ritual had begun. I adjusted the dial, seeking a clear frequency, but the static was unrelenting, a constant hiss punctuated by brief, almost imperceptible bursts of something more. It was frustrating. I meticulously documented every blip, every distorted note, every fleeting voice. The radio, my only companion in this nightly ritual, was a conduit to the unknown, a connection to something else. For months, I had been captivated by the anomaly that plagued the airwaves. A signal, a cacophony of static, whispers, and fragments of sound that only surfaced at the stroke of midnight. Always at midnight.
Midnight, huh? That's when all the good stuff happens.
In my small, cluttered apartment, the old shortwave radio, a relic from a bygone era, crackled to life. The mystery was about to begin. The first few weeks were filled with frustration. The signal was a jumble, a puzzle with missing pieces. Slowly, though, patterns emerged. I started to recognize recurring phrases, distorted melodies, and snippets of what sounded like conversations. One night, a voice repeated, "Beware the hour. The veil thins." Each decoded fragment felt like a piece of a forbidden map. It was unsettling. The recurring musical fragment, the haunting tune, became a focal point. I painstakingly transcribed it, attempting to play it on my old piano. The notes created an unsettling dissonance. I began to experience vivid nightmares, filled with shadowy figures and the echoing tune. One night, the broadcast included a clearer rendition of the tune, interwoven with a woman's voice, whispering frantically, "It's the key. The ritual. They are coming." The music was the key. Driven by curiosity, I began researching the origins of the radio signal. My search led me to an abandoned website, a forgotten forum dedicated to the paranormal. There I found a chilling post. The author of the post described experiencing the same unsettling sensations that I was. The feeling of being watched, the nightmares, the dread. The post ended abruptly, with a chilling final sentence. "They found me." Further research led me to a forgotten radio station, WCKD, that went silent mysteriously in the 1950s. Things were getting serious. The decoded messages became more coherent, more direct. The fragmented voices now spoke of a ritual, a gathering, and a hidden entity seeking to breach the veil between worlds. The warnings were clear. But I couldn't stop. One night, a clear voice, a voice filled with cold malice, addressed me directly. "You are getting closer. We are waiting." The signal felt like it was closing in. The voices were everywhere. The final piece of the puzzle arrived. A series of decoded fragments revealed a location. The old Blackwood Cemetery, a place rumored to be haunted and located near the abandoned WCKD radio tower. It was time to go.
Blackwood Cemetery? Oh, I bet that's a fun place to visit at midnight.
As midnight approached, I set up my equipment, the radio crackling to life. The static was overwhelming, but then, a familiar melody began to emerge. The same haunting tune. The ritual was starting. I could feel a presence. The air grew cold, and the wind whispered through the tombstones. The music intensified, a crescendo of dread, and the shadows seemed to dance among the graves. I felt a growing sense of panic, realizing the gravity of the situation. The curtain was about to rise. As the clock struck midnight, the static subsided. The music became clear, a crescendo of dread. A figure, tall and gaunt, emerged from the darkness, its form shimmering and indistinct. It was the entity. It raised its arms, and the air crackled with energy. I felt a powerful force, reaching out, but I had prepared. I played the final recording, the fragment of the woman's terrified voice screaming, "It's the key! The ritual! They are coming!" The entity recoiled, its power diminished. It vanished. The cemetery was silent. The air was still. The radio was dead. I packed up my equipment, the weight of the experience settling upon me. I had stopped the ritual for now. I drove home.
Well, that's a relief. Glad you made it out.
The next morning, the sun streamed through my window. The silence in the apartment was almost deafening after weeks of the static. I made coffee and sat by the window watching the world wake up. The experience felt like a dream. I knew I would never forget the whispers, the music, and the entity that had haunted my nights. But as I sipped my coffee, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't known in a long time. The world was safe again. I never turned the radio on again. The mystery was solved, the entity banished, and the echoes of the static had faded into silence. The end.